Raider Nation, what is going on? Coming to you with this video because I have a mock draft. We're getting close to the draft. I know people are itching to see who we're going to pick. There's a lot of trade up suggestions. There's a lot of trade down scenarios to go through. There's a few different ways to go about this, and I'm not myself a huge mock draft guy. I'm just really not. But it is a good reference tool to see the different options that are out there. And for this specific one, I really kind of want to fill in the gap of round 2 and what could be there, what could be the possibility, of course. But before we get into that, I want to give you one suggestion here, and that is my place, Stage Door Casino in Las Vegas. Like I told you on the last video, they're not open right now, of course. I mean, pretty much Las Vegas is shut down, but their convenience store still is. And keep them in the back of your mind for whenever they do open back up. I do expect a big grand opening party, something to go down, get all the Raider Nation there, all the Raiders fans. I mean, this is it. This is the Raider spot, Raider Nation. This is where you're going to gravitate to on the weekends, on game day Sundays, anytime you make a trip to Vegas. So keep Stage Door Casino in mind. But like I said, Raider Cody mock draft 1.0. Is that how that works? Do we label that 1.0? Let's get into it. And what's great about this mock draft now that we're doing, the NFL obviously just announced that they're going to be doing a virtual draft, and all general managers are going to be at home doing their own thing. So this mock draft is pretty realistic compared to what real general managers are going to be doing. They're going to be sitting on Zoom and they're going to be making their picks. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to play. This is going to be Mike Mayock on April 23rd. But I will start off with, we can't be in Vegas, but I'll give you the Vegas background. We're here in Vegas as if we would be there during the draft. This is the atmosphere that we're in right now. Our new city getting welcomed in. And right now, if we're on the clock, number 12 overall. I'm just going to buzz through this. I went through the board. I used a draft simulator to look at our ranges. I used the board. But if I'm on the clock right now at 12, I'm just going to give you my picks right here. This is going to be my board right here. So let me scoot. I'll give you some room. This is going to be my board right here. And number 12 overall, this is a top 10 player in my opinion, but all the draft simulators, and there's a big chance now, especially with DeAndre Hopkins going to the Cardinals, that was my one big worry. I think there's a good chance that CeeDee Lamb now falls to us at number 12, and you cannot pass on CeeDee Lamb. Now, there is still the big three, and I don't really care. I mean, you could fill in the blank with any of the big 3 wide receivers in my heart and still feel happy with it. Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, but if I had to pick one, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb at number 12. Now, with that, you can get down into 19, and you can have a lot of different scenarios going on at 19. Everyone's going to say corner. You got to go corner, and I get that. Now, am I happy with the corner talent right there? Not really sure. There's a lot of mixed feelings going on, that there's a lot of depth, especially in the second round. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my second pick. I'm going to take number 19. I'm going to trade it to Miami. And I use this handy trade chart. I don't know if you guys have ever looked up a trade value chart. I use this handy trade value chart over here, and this pretty much gave me now, if I'm trading 19 for 39 and 56, that is 850 points combined from Miami to our 875 value at 19. So I'm lowballing us a little bit just to ensure you guys that this is a trade that can totally happen. Right, I'd expect a little bit more leverage. I'd expect a little bit more capital. I'd expect there to be even more picks involved than what I'm doing. This is just a simple straight across trade just to get us into the second round, just to bump us down the road a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm sure you guys, everyone's wanting corner at 19. Well, I'm going to double dip now. I'm going to take these 2 second round picks, and the first one, number 39 from Miami, I'm going to go get Alabama's Trevon Diggs. And Diggs, in my opinion, is that physical corner that can line up opposite. This is your prototypical Paul Guenther corner that likes to get up in your face, bump and run. He's a big physical corner. Last year, or should I say his final 2 seasons in Alabama, he played 18 total games. He had a total of 14 passes defensed, 4 interceptions, and he returned 1 of those for a touchdown. So obviously he's a playmaker. 4 interceptions in the last 2 seasons. That's huge. There's a lot of college corners that come away sometimes. They don't get very many picks. Trevon Diggs was one of those guys that created plays and was able to do that. Now, I do see a little similarities with him and Darryl Worley in their style play. Get going down the field. That's kind of where I guess his ball skills could use some tweaking. But get him bump and run on the line. I think Trevon Diggs is absolutely our dude that can start day one opposite of Trayvon Mullen. But like I said, I'm double dipping. I'm going right now. We got 56 still from Miami, and I'm taking Jalen Johnson from Utah. And Jalen Johnson to me is just pure athletic corner, kind of like you can kind of compare him to maybe a Greedy Williams or some sort of last year. Not like super physical, but very athletic, has all the intangibles, ran like a 4.5 40 at the combine. His final 2 years at Utah, he played 27 total games, totaling 15 passes defensed, 6 interceptions, and he returned 2 of those for a touchdown. So obviously another big playmaker. Really, I think one of my biggest comparisons for him would almost maybe be kind of like a Garyon Conley. And don't let that get you guys, in a funk about it, but I like to try and compare him to players that we know the most, and I try and compare him to players that we've had on our team because those are guys that you're going to recognize more than anything. And Garyon Conley's kind of like that. And Garyon Conley was a very athletic prospect coming out. Of course, things didn't pan out. Whatever happened with, I guess, is just his technique or the fit to the defense didn't work out. But Jalen Johnson obviously would just kind of be like being able to take a second chance in the second round would be fantastic. Now, still going down the list, we have our third rounders, right? And with our third rounders, we got 2 picks back to back. First pick is going to be at 80 overall. 80 overall, I'm going to pick the same guy I've been tooting his horn all freaking offseason, and that's Chase Claypool. I'm afraid now there's so much Chase Claypool buzz, he's not going to make it to this point, but I have hope. I still think he's a third-round wide receiver, and I think he'd be a steal. He's that Calvin Johnson clone. He's built just like Calvin Johnson. Honestly, really, he's like 6'4", 240. Absolutely nuts. Runs like a 4.4 40. Dude, the dude he's fast. He's fast. He's big. He's physical. And his final year at Notre Dame, he played all 13 games. He had over 1,000 yards, and he had 13 touchdowns. 13 touchdowns. A touchdown a game. Give me a touchdown a game. That's what I'm talking about. That's our red zone threat. That's how our offense had trouble scoring last year. Insert somebody that knows how to score. Chase Claypool at 80. Lock it in. Now, this one, you get down in a double dip in. There's a few third-round prospects that I want, but you cannot have enough defensive line help, right? And I'm still looking at interior. We got Max Crosby, who's developing. We have Cleveland Farrell, who's hopefully going to do his job. We have Carl Nassib, who's coming in, hopefully going to contribute on the outside, on the edges. And we still could get another, later-round guy in the third round. We could dip into that. But I'm going to go with, at 81, I'm going to go with Rashard Lawrence from LSU. And, really, I'm just going to start off by saying, he just won a championship. This guy knows how to win. He's a winner. His final 2 seasons, if I can talk. I can never. Guys, who gave me a freaking YouTube channel? I can't even speak English half the time. The final 2 seasons at LSU, he played 25 games in those final 2 seasons. He had 6.5 sacks, 16 tackles for loss. And this dude, he's a big dude. He's like 6'2", he's over 300. I think he's like 310 pounds. Big dude. Big physical dude. He can get to the quarterback. Obviously, his size allows him to pretty much come out, and he's probably going to be an every down defensive tackle once he develops. Give him a year. And we have a situation right now where we brought in Malik Collins. Malik Collins is going to be great. We have Mo Hurst. He's going to be great. But Collins is on a 1-year deal. You bring in a guy like Rashard Lawrence, a known winner, learn behind Malik Collins. Let Malik Collins, if he has a big, crazy season, he goes and gets $10 million somewhere. We sit here on the rookie, Rashard Lawrence, third-year rookie, that could fill in those shoes perfectly as soon as Malik Collins steps away next season. Now, with my final pick, this is only the first 3 rounds, first 3-round mock. Maybe I didn't announce that at the beginning, but this is just 3 rounds. And the final pick, this is going to be running back ZACK Moss. And ZACK Moss is another guy, just like Chase Claypool. I've been tooting his horn all offseason. These are the 2 guys I'm going to be watching in the 3rd round. ZACK Moss is going to be the perfect backup to Josh Jacobs. Because, there's a role to be filled. Jalen Richard is going to have his chance to rotate in on 3rd downs, especially how great he's been picking up blocks in the passing game, being a smart, savvy veteran, the former undrafted free agent. Shout out to Rocket Richard, man. I'm glad he's sticking around. But ZACK Moss, his final year now at Utah. I got my 2 Utah guys, right? I got Jalen Johnson, I got ZACK Moss here. He had 74 broken tackles. 74 broken tackles. That's like top 15, I think, in a college season all time. Absolutely amazing. He had 36 rushing touchdowns and 39 total touchdowns in his last 3 years in Utah. 39 touchdowns in 3 years. That's amazing. What is that, like 12, 13 something touchdowns a year? That's a touchdown a game, basically. And he does get involved in the passing game. He has receptions. He has big chunks. I think he's averaging over like 10 yards of reception his final year at Utah. Zach Moss is a do-it-all guy that you can insert at any time, but he is going to be your workhorse. He's going to come in now and finish off, my 3-round mock, and he's going to be the perfect backup, perfect complement to back up Josh Jacobs. And now this is kind of I want to be more balanced. I feel like we're going to go very heavily offense, but I do feel like, there's going to be positions like corner addressed and defensive line still being addressed just because there's some needs there. But I feel like I satisfied our needs on offense, getting, of course, the true number one receiver that we've been talking about all offseason, and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is going to come in and be the dude. And then we have a need at corner. And this would load our corner room. I mean, right now, we got Trayvon Mullen locked in CB1. I mean, let's do it, right? Opposite, we were looking at maybe Eli Apple, I guess, could work. We saw like Logan Ryan on the market. You never know, stuff like that. But Isaiah Johnson, I think, would be our best bet and our best prospect if he can stay healthy and prove that he could be a starter. Isaiah Johnson would be the guy. But this would bring in so much freaking competition. Jalen Johnson, Trevon Diggs, two totally different talents, two totally different usages. Maybe Jalen Johnson's able to jump into the slot a little bit, play a little slot, take a little pressure. Of course, he'd still come in on like dime packages, stuff like that. There's gonna be a lot of nickel and dime packages out there, so we can use as many corners as possible. It's not just 2 or 3; we need 4 good ones. We can use 5 for injuries, rotations, guys learning. You never know what's gonna happen. But imagine a corner room of like 4 young guys in Trayvon Mullen, Isaiah Johnson, Jalen Johnson, Trevon Diggs. Man, those 4 guys, first and second year guys, all super talented, would be completely amazing. So that's going to be my mock. Bring in Zach Moss, bring in Chase Claypool, Rashard Lawrence, a proven winner. I think this is it. This is going to be my mock draft 1.0. And if you guys liked it, you guys like all my other videos, get this sucker out of the way, make some room here. If you guys like all my other videos, make sure you subscribe, you hit that bell notification, get all my future stuff. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll probably drop another mock draft or 2, or we'll see what's going on. We'll hit up my buddy Grizz, we'll hit up Kenny King Jr. Maybe we'll collaborate on a big mock draft or something before the draft starts, a few days before, right? Since we don't get the Mike Mayock draft or mock draft the day before the draft anymore, maybe we'll make our own, do our own thing. Got a lot of content to pump out while we're all sitting at home. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next video.